In June 1992, 3 women vanished from their home in Springfield, Missouri. Despite extensive investigations, Suzie Streeter, Stacy McCall, and Sherrill Levitt were never seen or heard from again. Welcome to the world's greatest mysteries. This is the eerie, unsolved mystery of the Springfield Three. Sherrill Levitt, Suzie's mother, was born in December 1948. Raised in Springfield, she had strong ties to the community where she lived for much of her life. Sherrill earned recognition as a skilled hairdresser, admired for her innovative techniques and mastery in her profession. Suzie Streeter, born in November 1973, also hailed from Springfield, Missouri. Renowned for her contagious laughter, affable nature, and adventurous streak, Suzie had recently graduated from Kickapoo High School. She shared a residence with her mother, Sherrill, at 1717 East Delmar Street. Little did anyone know that this seemingly ordinary home would become infamous, serving as the epicenter of the Springfield Three case. Stacy McCall, Suzie's closest companion, was born in July 1973. Like Suzie, she graduated recently from Kickapoo High School. They have often been described as having an inseparable bond, a bond which perhaps led to Stacy's disappearance. On June 6, 1992, having just celebrated Suzie and Stacy's high school graduation, they returned to Sherrill's home in the late hours for a night of rest. But as dawn broke, they were gone, leaving behind a home untouched and a community bewildered. The investigation into the disappearance of the Springfield Three began in the early hours of the following morning on June 7th, prompted by the growing unease of family members and friends who found themselves unable to reach the trio. These concerned individuals most likely visited the residence in question. As they crossed the threshold of 1717 East Delmar Street, they were met with an eerie, empty silence. The house appeared frozen in time, with beds unmade, a light left on, and belongings seemingly abandoned. Purses and cars were left behind, clothes neatly folded, as if awaiting their owner's return. And yet, the women were nowhere to be seen. The only obvious hint at a life interrupted was an overturned chair and a half-drank cup of coffee. This unnerving scene led to Suzie, Stacy, and Sherrill being reported missing to local authorities. In the following days, the first priority was to secure the area and gather evidence. Investigators meticulously combed through the house, documenting every detail and collecting items that might hold clues to the women's whereabouts. Despite the absence of forced entry, the house held secrets that defied easy explanation. The lack of signs of a break-in only deepened the mystery, raising unsettling questions about how Suzie, Stacy, and Sherrill had vanished from the seemingly secure confines of their own home. During this frantic search, investigators stumbled upon a message on the answering machine that would become a key piece of evidence. When investigators pressed play, they heard a disjointed message. A voice, tinged with urgency and apprehension, spoke in fragmented phrases. However, the message was difficult to decipher due to background noise and distortion. Despite repeated attempts to analyze the message, its meaning remained elusive, and its secrets held tight. Ultimately, forensic analysis conducted yielded frustrating dead ends, offering only cryptic fragments of a puzzle too complex to comprehend. The fingerprints and DNA samples spoke of presence, of activity, but revealed nothing of substance to illuminate the darkness that cloaked the fate of Suzie, Stacy, and Sherrill. Despite this absence of concrete findings, the search for answers continued. Investigators were forced to rely on other methods of inquiry. Interviews were conducted with family members, friends, and anyone else who might have information about the women's activities leading up to their disappearance. Witnesses were asked to recount their interactions with Suzie, Stacy and Sherrill in the days and hours before they went missing, in the hopes of identifying any potential leads. As news of the disappearance spread, volunteers from the community in which the women were so deeply entrenched joined in the search efforts, canvassing the area for any clues. Flyers with information about Suzie, Stacy, and Sherrill were distributed, and media outlets covered the story, bringing attention to the case and appealing for assistance from the public. Despite these efforts, the investigation slowed as leads dwindled and the trail grew cold. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the disappearance of the Springfield Three baffled investigators and left the community on edge, desperate for answers.
As the days turned into weeks, law enforcement officials continued to pursue every lead and avenue of investigation. But the truth remained hidden. The women were never found. As the weeks turned into months and months into years, the fate of the Springfield Three remained a chilling enigma. Sightings were reported, rumors circulated, but concrete answers eluded even the most determined of investigators, both professional and amateur alike. In the wake of an official answer, speculation has filled the void. This speculation has led to the evolution of 4 key theories.
One theory that continues to gain traction is the idea of a government or local cover-up. It has been suggested that the women stumbled upon something they weren't meant to see, perhaps some sort of sensitive information. Critics of the investigation point to a lack of transparency and cooperation from government agencies involved in the case. Some believe that critical information may have been withheld or suppressed in order to protect the interests of powerful individuals or institutions. Furthering this theory are reports of intimidation and threats directed at individuals who have attempted to investigate or speak out about the case. Similar to the cover-up theory, the suggestion is one of the women learned of local illegal activity, perhaps money laundering at the hairdresser where Sherrill's worked. The meticulous planning and execution of their abduction, as well as the lack of evidence left behind, point to the possibility of a powerful and well-connected entity orchestrating their disappearance. Another theory goes on to suggest that the Springfield Three, instead of being abducted, voluntarily went into witness protection due to any potential uncovering of illegal activity. This would go some way to explaining the lack of transparency in the investigation.
Some believe that the Springfield Three may have fallen victim to a serial killer operating in the area at the time of their disappearance. This theory suggests that their abduction was part of a pattern of similar crimes committed by the same individual, but no concrete evidence has been found to support this hypothesis.
A final theory suggests that the Springfield Three may have met with an accidental fate, such as getting lost or injured while traveling, or encountering a dangerous situation without anyone else being involved. While this theory is less sensational than others, it remains a possibility given the lack of conclusive evidence in the case. However, this also raises the question, why would they be traveling without their vehicles? And what could have possibly befell them? And yet, the Springfield Three mystery endures. Whether the result of organized crime, a government conspiracy, or something altogether more or less sinister, the fate of Suzie Streeter, Stacy McCall, and Sherrill Levitt remains a chilling enigma, shrouded in a veil of mystery that may never be lifted. What really happened on that fateful night in June 1992? We may never know.
Post your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on the world's greatest mysteries.